once more. It is another Tuesday and it's 8 p.m. Thank you so much for spending last Tuesday with me. Last Tuesday was basically about reflections of 50. Since I turned 50, I decided to share some of my principles, which I have detailed on my Facebook wall. I got a lot of interesting feedback thereafter. Some of the ones that people preferred the most. So I think the one that ranked the most in terms of the principles that people liked was the honor thy parents, honor them so that you may live long. And I found that to be very interesting. And it's something that I personally take seriously, making sure that we take care of our elderly folks, especially those who silently pray and bless us. So if you've not had the opportunity to check out session 9, it's on my wall, so you can go there and check it out. So session 9 was basically a detour from the previous sessions, so we're getting back on track. So this is session 10. Well, interesting enough, we've done 10 weeks already, something that started like a joke. We've done 10 weeks already. So today's is entitled Elon Musk versus Amankwa. So I'm sure people will be wondering, what is all of this about? Are we comparing Elon Musk to Amankwa? Well, let me put this on record. I'm not anywhere close to who and what Elon Musk is. He's one person that I have grown to admire and respect a lot, and I honestly look forward to shaking his hand one day and hugging him and telling him how great he's been and what he's doing for civilization. He's somebody that I've grown to admire so much. Before him, my idol was Steve Jobs, but having gotten to know more about Elon Musk and what he's doing, where he's going, I can confidently say 100 years from now, his handiwork will still be around. So today's is about Elon Musk and Amankwa. We are both entrepreneurs. We are both driven. Why is he the richest man in the world today at $182 billion, and I am worth only 2 Ghana cedis? If $122 billion, you can't really understand how much it is. Let me try and convert it to Ghana cedis. So that's about 1 trillion Ghana cedis. So 182 billion US dollars, using an exchange rate of 6 cedis to a dollar, is about 1 trillion. 1 trillion. I don't know how many of us can understand and appreciate what a trillion Ghana cedis is and what it can be used for and what it really means. I personally cannot even comprehend what a trillion Ghana cedis equates to or what it means. So Elon Musk was born on June 28th, 1971, and I was born on March 3rd. So we're 3 years older than him, and it means that both of us technically are 50 in 2021. So why is he the richest man at 182 billion and I'm at 2 Ghana cedis? So Elon grew up in South Africa, so he's an African, just like me, and probably just like others as well. He's African, and he's the richest man. So it's African, South African American as they call him, but he's an African. His parents divorced at the age of 10. He left and went to Canada to go to school at about 17. A year after he got there, he got his Canadian citizenship, and the reason why he went that route was he knew that getting his Canadian citizenship would make it easy for him to get his American citizenship. So I think 3 years after that, he left and then went to the United States of America to study, to do his undergrad. So he went in there to do business and then physics. So he actually graduated with 2 degrees, one in economics and one in physics. Okay? Economics and physics. So that's like a double degree. He stayed 1 extra year to complete that. So in 1995, he founded his first business called Zip2 with his brother Kimball. That's 1995. So 1995, that was when I was entering my freshman year at James Madison University. 4 years after that, that's in 1999, he sold Zip2 for $307 million US dollars and $34 million. So $307 million in cash, and then $34 million in stock options to Compaq Computer Corporation. So 1995 to 1999, he started Zip2. And what is Zip2? Zip2 basically was like a yellow pages where you can go online and then be able to get information. It's like a directory service where you can get information about businesses, business advertisers on there, and there's also two-way interaction between the users on there and then the businesses. So more like a city guide. So Elon was doing that at the time I was going into college. So now with that money, what he did next was to start Tesla and then SpaceX. So he took the monies that he got from there. So before he actually started Tesla and SpaceX, him and his brother took the proceeds from Zip2 and then did what? Founded another company called X.com, which was a financial services company, which later morphed into PayPal, today's PayPal, okay? So PayPal also got bought by eBay for $1.5 billion, which made him a multi-millionaire, early 20s at that point. Whilst I was still struggling and hustling, trying to get my undergrad out of the way. So from the money that he got from the eBay sale, he founded Tesla Motors, which later became Tesla, and then also SpaceX. SpaceX basically is to carry people to outer space, commercially. Okay. But today, as we are having this session, he's the richest man, $122 billion, and his counterpart, his brother, all the way here in Accra, Ghana, is worth 2 Ghana cedis. But his first business, that earned him and his brother $307 million and $34 million in stock options, was not any different from what I started in 2002. So in 2002, whilst I was working in Brazil, and remember in section 8, I talked about how I got introduced to an Indian guy who lived and worked in Saudi Arabia. I asked him to go to India to start up my first company, software development company there. So when he went and he set up the company, I also set up another one here in the US, providing software services and then web development services. And we founded our first company, which was called MyRockingham.com. Rockingham County was the name of the county that James Madison belonged to in Harrisonburg in Virginia. And it was a university campus, right? University town. So you had James Madison, you had Eastern Mennonite, you had some community college there and stuff like that. So whilst I was there undergrad, I realized that it was difficult finding information. At that point, also keep in mind that the internet was not really what it is now. It was basically still very, very new. It was still at its infant stages. And so you didn't have a lot of online presence and stuff. So I came up with the idea that, look, why don't we just set up a website, a service, a company, whereby people can go to myrockingham.com and then be able to place their classified ads and find businesses, interact with the businesses, socialize and stuff like that. So what I did was, with my salary from working at Bozal at the time, I got one of the computer science guys who had just graduated from there to join my Rockingham as a full-time staff. And then I got 4 other interns to also just cut down on cost. So Han-O, who I tagged in today's session, was the computer science guy, and he was full-time. Then you had the other interns who also joined. So on my wall, you will see the black and white picture. I extracted that from the news article that The Breeze, which was the school's newspaper, captured and did an article on us. So why? And the difference between my Rockingham and Zip2 wasn't really that much. So why was Elon Musk able to sell his for 300 and mine fizzled and I moved on to other things? When I was doing it, I actually saw an opportunity, but I think fundamentally there were a lot of things that I lacked, and I will be sharing those things as the time goes by. One, you need to really capitalize when you're doing something. And I was using just my basic salary, and then also probably some support from friends here and there just to keep the operations going, because now you have to pay developers, you have to pay your hosting services and things like that. Then the business model was also important. Then also the scale, because when you look at Zip2, it was not a local, it was like a nationwide platform. So he had scale, he had millions of businesses on there. But I was focused on just Harrisonburg County, right? Which was just a small village. So obviously, even if we were to succeed, it was going to be very small, and I don't even think anybody was going to pay $10 million, $5 million for it, because it was not on a national scale as Zip2 was. So I think the first lesson that I picked from that was scale. So the guys who do big things look for big challenges, and then when they're able to solve it, their wins are big. Secondly, capital was important. And thirdly, the network. So even though I was raw and I was driven, there were a lot of tools I didn't have. I didn't know how to run an internet business. I didn't know anybody who had done it. I was just hungry. I just had raw talent, and I was just ambitious, and I was just following, my passion. So passion in itself alone is not enough. So how is Elon different from me in terms of our upbringing? At 12 years old, Elon had written his own first and sold his first software application. 12 years old. So 12 years old, I was still in Morningstar primary school. And what were we doing at that time? We were playing games like Dicos. Dicos is like that little metal thing that they use in opening sardines, and then we'll use it, we try to, if you know Dicos, right? And we're playing Alikoto, okay? That's what we're doing. And then when we're not doing that, we will put, we'll find used ties, and then we will put 2 sticks in it, put water in it, and they just running down the road and strolling, okay? Those were the kind of things we were doing at that age. But then here was a guy who at 12 had sold his first software application. I also later found out that in an interview where Elon said he grew up on video games, and then his parents, and then also books. At that time, when I look at my life, what was video games? We didn't have video games, like serious video games. A few privileged people may have Commodore 64 or whatever it is, but generally, most people did not have video games. So, is the difference in our environment? We were playing Dicos and Alikoto, games that were not seriously mentally stimulating, intellectually stimulating, did not really use our cognitive abilities, against somebody who was in an environment where he had the resources to be able to teach himself. What I also found out was this. At 3 years old, Elon Musk's mom said she noticed that he was a genius. So, to be fair, I'm not anywhere close to being a genius. So, given he was a genius. But I think he was in the right environment. And he also took advantage by taking initiative, by teaching himself computers, where now he learned how to program and then sold his own first application. But here I was on the other side of the pond, playing games that were not stimulating and very resourceful in any way. At the same time, too, he was spending a lot of time teaching himself and reading and learning. At that time, what books were we reading in primary school? Reading Hardy Boys and Famous Five. Those are not books that really teach you much. Okay? So I think the environment also made a difference. So even though I think we both were ambitious, his path was a bit different. His environment was different. So as I looked and reflected upon, okay, what really sets us apart? And I look back into my life. I remember in my teenage years, I was always very curious and inquisitive. So I would sometimes take, an old radio and then take some batteries and wires and then just fizzle with it just to hear some sounds coming from it. So I play with the circuit board, stuff like that, from computers, if like old systems and things like that, just to figure out how do those things work. So, but at that point, that was when I needed the most resource and guidance, because I was interested in how things worked, but I didn't have anybody to identify that, you know what, okay, I'm curious, I'm inquisitive, therefore, how do we guide him? So, and then also remember, we didn't have computer labs, we didn't have robotics as we do now. So even though I had that passion, there was a roadblock because I couldn't go any further. I didn't have access to the internet, access to any books or anything to be able to figure out, okay, why am I interested in this? What does it mean? How does it work? So if I get a toy car that has a remote control and it's moving, I'm amazed by it. I want to figure out how it works. But I could not get any help or resource as to how it worked. Therefore, there's a roadblock. But with Elon, he was able to actually figure out how those things worked, which kind of like cultivated and deepened his imagination. Okay? So when you find your kids or people around you who are curious and inquisitive and trying to do things that you think are a bit weird, I think we should pause, really pay attention to them and see how we can assist them and encourage them and stuff like that. So after selling his his first company at 12, he had actually now learned how to do business. Okay, by developing a program and making money. I did mine when MC Hammer and myself organized our first jam, okay, for the senior high school graduates. I think around the age, I think then I was about 22, okay. So he made his first business move and made his money at 12, and we are all 50 years old. But I got mine at what? 22. And mine was not something that used a lot of intellectual capabilities and power. It was just sheer look. Let's organize jams, let people buy tickets, and let's make money. Okay? So there's a great difference there. Why do all of these things matter? As an entrepreneur, as somebody who has ambition, you always have to plot. You always have to plan. Elon planned right from the very beginning by teaching himself how to program. Sell his first software application, make money. Figure out he had to be in America, as I did. Used Canada and went to UPenn. And then the rest is history. So his ambition path, all of that is not really different from mine. So the question is, why did he make it? And why is he the richest man? And why am I worth $2 each? I'm not competing anyway with Elon Musk. I can never do that. God has blessed us all differently. When I get to see him, I'm going to ask him to give me 1%. 1% of $182 billion is $1.8 billion, right? So if I get $1.8 billion, I've arrived. That's on the lighter side. So, in conclusion, what I'm trying to say here is our environments count, the people around us count, but most importantly, the initiatives that we take ourselves. And when I look back, I have spent a lot of time doing a lot of things that Elon Musk has done. He works 100 hours a week. I have done that so many years continuously. He reads a lot. I've read a lot. I continue to read. So I've been seeking, I've been searching. But my environment is limited. My environment is limited. So no matter how hard I try, if I stay within the same environment, I'm not sure I'll be able to achieve the kind of stuff that he's achieved. So raw talent, raw passion, raw energy is okay, but it's not enough to take you to that big place, to that big place. The flip side of it is this: as much as I admire him, I'm so grateful for what he has done, because truly, it is changing civilization. I'm proud that he's an African and he's done it. I'm proud that he's done it for me to take after him, to learn from him. And let me tell you guys a secret. Every night before I go to bed, I go to Forbes I go to the billionaire index list, and I type my name to see whether my name will pop up. Unfortunately, my name has not popped up, but I'm going to continue doing that because what? It gives me the kicks. It keeps me excited and keeps me going. So you can have the same idea as somebody. It doesn't mean that your success is going to be the same. There are a lot of different things that influence. And remember, even at 2002, when I did my Rockingham.com, Facebook was not even founded. Facebook was founded in 2004. So people will look back and say, oh, Michael was visionary. Michael was, he was ahead of the curve. He was ahead of his peers and stuff like that. To some degree, I will agree. But is that good enough? We need to be able to build the systems, build the culture, build the environment, resource it in ways that those coming will have a better chance of succeeding. I have a very, very good friend, and her son, not too long ago, said he wanted, when he grows up, he wants to be a YouTuber. He wants to be a YouTuber, yes, meaning that he creates, content and puts on YouTube and people watch. And truthfully, how many parents would want their kid, after paying all of this expensive school fees, to allow their kid to go become a YouTuber? But if you're not up and abreast with the times, and you're going to force your kid to go do medicine, be a doctor, be an accountant, whatever it is, you've missed it. So let's be open-minded. Let us be informed so that when our kids want to take a certain path, we're able to evaluate and support them in that course. When I look back, when my last born, Sean Zayden, keeps on playing video games, I just look at him in awe. And I'm excited and happy because I can relate to what he's doing, because it's the same thing that Elon Musk did, and it got him to be the richest person in the world. So why stop my kid from playing video games? He should play all that he wants to play. Yes, he's going to have time for schoolwork as well, but let's be informed so that we don't put obstacles in the ways of our kids. We're going to meet again next Tuesday. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and keep safe.